All right, we got a couple of folks coming in here, so we're going to give them a couple minutes to get rolling in. How you doing, everybody? It's Tracy the Ace Brinkman, Mr. Sergeant Major Motivation here, getting ready to present your Resolution Revolution webinar. Really sorry about having to delay this from last week. We were having some troubles with the chat side of things, so I wanted to make sure this was all up and running. And then when I was working on that, it seemed that the server that this is all happening on decided to go kaput. And obviously didn't want to go kaput while we're in the middle of everything. So figured I'd delay it for everybody. And looks like we're working well so far. How y'all doing? I'm going to give folks a couple more minutes or a couple more moments. We're 2 minutes in. Some of them may not realize the time we have going on here. All righty. All right. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and get kick-started. As folks are ready to rock and roll, then we'll just get rolling with them. Again, I'm your host, Tracy the Ace Brinkman. There's a story behind that, where that ace came from. Sergeant Major Motivation from YourSuccessAtLast.com. I'm the host of your webinar today. I also do the Your Success at Last DNA show Monday through Friday, and there's a whole host of other programs I do. But I wanted to bring a Resolution Revolution webinar to you guys because so many people are sitting with resolutions and I'm not sure they're quite going about it the right way, or they're doing it the way they're used to. Figured I want to give them some tips on how to get there and get it going even better. Sound like a good idea? Alrighty, let's get rocking and rolling, shall we? First, I guess the question would be, okay, why am I listening to you, right? And who are you? Well, as I've already said, I am Tracy the Ace Brinkman, and we're just going to go spend a minute or two on the story. I've been, actually today, this very day, it marks 18 years since I started the original site, which was successatlas.com, and started doing, back then it would have been newsletters. And this all started as a need of mine. I had a daughter who was born with distended bowel syndrome, and she went through like 6 operations, I believe it was. Maybe it was 5 by the time she was 6 months old. And as you can understand, as a father, that can be rather challenging. And so I had always believed in, I guess, personal development and self-help and blah, blah, blah. But I really began to immerse myself in it a little bit more as kind of a salvation from the pressures of all that. And in addition to that, I began speaking to anyone that would listen to me on the topic of organ donation, because that's what my daughter Krista was waiting for, was organ donations. And so I went around to anyone that would listen, TV stations, news stations, churches, service clubs, and just spoke and spoke and spoke. Unfortunately, at the age of 16 months, Krista passed away, which brought on a whole other level of pressure and a whole other level of me immersing myself into how do I keep from sucking in and becoming incapacitated by this. And the world of self-help and personal development really did it, specifically the Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglars, and Jim Rohns of the world. I went to everything that was out there, bought everything that was out there, and began just becoming what I'll call a guru of sorts. And started changing the topics of a lot of my speeches from organ donations to self-help topics, and people began to respond, and I started to feed off that response and found it even more enjoyable. And so I started Success Atlas way back then and started doing newsletters, sharing thoughts and stories of I guess, here's how I've done it. Here's how I think you could do it too. And 18 years later today, 18 years, wow. Here we are doing a webinar sharing with the folks listening out there in the digital world on Resolution Revolution. All right, well, that's a little bit about me. Many of you know me, many of you don't. There'll be more going on here. So what we're here to discuss, obviously, resolutions. And I broke this down into three parts for you. One, we're going to talk about obviously New Year's resolutions. Then we're going to go into the actual topic itself, which is the resolution revolution. And then part three is sticking to your goals. I'm going to help you make that transition from resolutions to goals, and then share with you some really the best practices for accomplishing your resolutions or accomplishing your goals as we go through this. All right, some of the facts. Well. Some of the facts that we have out there are, it's really easy for anyone to make a resolution, and it's really even more so, it's sad that so many make them without knowing full well, or with knowing full well that they're probably not going to achieve them. For most of the people, it's almost become kind of this annual habit to set these unattainable or unmotivating resolutions. I know I've been guilty of it. I would imagine if you're sitting here listening to this now, you may have as well. I mean, this could be the year. I want this to be the year that you change that. So instead of making another year of resolutions that get quickly, or perhaps you've already on day 22 of 2015, toss them away. I want this to be the year that you succeed at this. All right. So when you're done with this webinar, when you're done listening to me, all right, I want you to realize that you can know why other people have failed at their resolutions and what you can do to make them work. I want to give you some information here that's specific and help you set specific and set attainable goals. Right? Whew. All right. First off, we're going to touch on a brief little history, and I did this because it's kind of some interesting tidbits. The actual annual celebration of New Year's can be traced back to pre-Christian times. The Babylonians celebrated New Year's, actually in March, and later the Romans were the ones that changed this to January. New Year resolutions really are about as old of a tradition as celebrating the New Year itself. The ancient Babylonians made promises to their gods at the start of each year. These promises involved things like returning borrowing items or just paying back debts, right? Romans began each year by making promises to their god, who was named Janus. Does that sound familiar? Well, it should, because that's where the name for the month January came from. In the medieval era, knights would take what was known as a peacock vow at the end of every Christmas season, and then they would reaffirm their commitment to chivalry, right? So you can start seeing how these things have just come across over the eras. Religious events like Judaism's Rosh Hashanah and Catholic Lent were also inspired for New Year's resolutions as we know them today. So you can see that everything about history is kind of all wrapped up and kind of pushes up into this, right? Our history is full of ideas of commenting on, improving yourself, refreshing, the new year. These commitments are made over and over and over again. I mentioned that Rosh Hashanah. See, I'm not keeping up with myself on here. Okay, so what are the benefits? Okay, yeah, great, Tracy. People have been doing this forever. Well, why? Well, the benefits, motivation, all right? However, as you can see right there right away, I didn't even want to pause this one. Making a resolution isn't enough. You got to take action. The first day of the new year really is a great time for making a fresh start, making resolutions that you're going to take control of your life and acknowledging that you have the power to do it. All right? Powerful step. There it is. It's a powerful step for getting out of a bad situation. As I mentioned earlier in a brief part of my story, it didn't get me out of the situation, but it helped me from getting deeper into it. Taking the first step, I guess immersing myself deeper into something positive, kept me, I think, from becoming overly depressed. Because I know I felt the emotions when Krista passed away. But how can I turn that emotional energy into something positive as a way to process, as a way to grieve, as a way to share with other people? And what I found was taking the message that I was learning and sharing those messages with other people and feeling their positive energy back was helping me through my negative time, right? So, I mean, When you successfully tackle something, when you successfully tackle a goal or overcome a grieving time, a bad time in your life, you can find that you'll feel this wonderful sense of achievement. Yeah, and your confidence level, it's gonna soar, and that's gonna rise right along with your self-esteem. So if you haven't felt proud of yourself, I don't know, even recently, I want you to sit down right now. Well, maybe not right now. Maybe at the end of this seminar. But I want you to sit down and think about a time when you did feel proud, right? And that's the time to really set your resolution and move it on. Okay? All right. So, and then I just mentioned this one, success at the resolution. All right, sense of achievement. That's I can do it. I can take on the world. All right. All right, so obviously you've got the other side of things. You got the pitfalls, all right? One of the biggest, and I do this a lot with clients and people I talk to, is a lot of people set goals and make resolutions that they're really not ready for. That's a common pitfall. And if you're the type of person who makes the same resolution each and every year, you need to understand why you're not achieving it. There's something in there that's saying, no, I'm not ready. Right? It's very easy to make a resolution, but you need to attempt to follow through. For example, I don't know, if you're not motivated enough to lose weight, for example, don't just make a resolution and lose 10 pounds by spring. Instead, take a deep look inside yourself and uncover the true feelings of why you're losing the weight. Or maybe your true feelings about losing weight, right? It can be maybe you're thinking, oh God, I can't exercise, or oh man, there's no way I can eat that quote unquote healthy food, right? Sometimes it's those feelings. Once you get behind them, you can figure out a way around those feelings and do it other ways. Because you can make a resolution to lose weight and still eat what I'll call normal food, daily food. I eat daily food every day, and I have lost weight. It's about managing both sides of things, all right? So sometimes you got to do a little bit of thinking. What it boils down to is you need to make resolutions that are right for you, right? It's that simple. The other one you want to watch out for is resolutions that create self-criticism, all right? We don't want you to become self-critical. So if you're setting yourself up with an unattainable resolution, you're falling back into feeling worse. You're going to say, well, I can never do that. You'll start creating this potentially damaging downward spiral, right? And let's be honest, a year's a long time to be sitting there spinning downhill, all right? Those voices that are going on in your head saying, oh, you can't do it. You know, you see it so many times on what used to be in movies and the cartoons, the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. And the angel saying, you can do it, you can do it. And the devil going, yeah, no way, right? Well, imagine if you had a devil on both shoulders. Yeah, that's not where you want to go, okay? So, top 5 resolutions. Well, we probably all know what these are. I could probably take a vote. I'm willing to bet everyone listening, the number of viewers we have going on right here, will probably get 3 out of the 5, which is pretty good odds. Number 1, lose weight. And quit smoking is right up there with this. I put them together. Number 2, a lot of folks talk about getting organized. Financial goals are in the top 5. Wanting to enjoy life in all its scope falls into the top 5. And staying fit, health goals. You could probably put that up there with lose weight, but there's those folks that really don't focus on just the losing weight. They want to stay fit. Maybe they run a marathon, or they want to learn to lift, or all these other variations on staying fit. A healthy lifestyle, you could call it. Okay? Some stats for you. What percent of the people do you think actually make resolutions these days? I was a little surprised in some of the numbers I read. 45% of the people make resolutions. Now, imagine if you're going to a party on New Year's Eve and people are asking you, did you make a resolution? Did you make a resolution? There's a lot more people that say, yeah, and it's blah, 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 blah. They didn't really make a resolution. They just kind of said that. All right? So I want to look at the percentage of people that actually made a resolution. Or percent of the people actually successfully completed it? 8. Ouch. Right? That's not good. That's why you're here. You want to be that 9th percent, the 10th percent, the 15th percent that go past that 8%. Percent of the people who have never, ever completed a resolution when they said it. So now, of the 45% of the people who have made a resolution, what percent of them have never completed one? 24. Ouch. Right? Man. And here's another interesting tidbit. You hear this quite a bit. What's the length that most people will maintain their resolution? This kind of alludes to why only 24% of the people never complete them. So 2 weeks, 72% of the people are still at it. Now, mind you, we're talking about 2 weeks out of the people that were up here, right? 45% of the people made a resolution. At that point, 72% of those folks, 2 weeks is still going at it. A month later, it's down to 64. 6 months, it's down to 46. And you'll go to other places and those numbers will change a bit. But the point is, you can see how it just starts dropping off. You want to maintain your focus. All right? So we're going to go through, why do resolutions fail? I think I've touched a little bit on some of them, but the first couple here are, a lot of folks make too many resolutions. This happened in the goal-setting world, too. They make too many. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh, my goodness. Can you say the word overwhelmed? Yeah? All right, so let's not make too many goals. And then, if they're not making too many, sometimes they do make too many, and they're making impossible resolutions. I'm going to lose 150 pounds this year. Well, I'm not saying that's impossible, but the odds are definitely against you in that arena. All right? I remember going to Tony Robbins was a 3-day seminar, and Tony was all about setting the goals. As you know, if you're attending this particular webinar, you're probably a person who's heard of Tony Robbins, maybe heard some of his stuff. But he's big on goal setting, big on creating your dream, all right? Your major, or as Napoleon Hill called it, your major definite purpose, all right? So, and I remember there was this point in the arena. It was towards the end of day 2. He was, really bringing us down. All right, we've got you all pumped up, but let me talk to you for a second. And the lights went down, and there was a single spotlight on him. What's your dream? What's that one resolution that you want to accomplish this year? And the guy next to me says, I want to be a millionaire. And I thought, right on. What do you do for a living, right? Well, of course, I didn't ask him at that point. But over the course of dinner that night, I did learn that he had a regular job. He was making fair money. I think if my memory serves me correctly, he was earning $40,000 or $50,000 a year that year. And this is about 15 years ago now. So he wasn't broke. But to go from $50,000 a year to $1 million a year, yeah, the odds were against him. So making impossible things like this can certainly cause your resolutions or your goals to fail. On the other side of that, making vague resolutions certainly are not going to help you at all. You want to be very specific about your resolutions. You want to give them some detail, some oomph, some power, something to motivate you, as I mentioned earlier. Your lack of willpower. And I think this is going to come out of your motivation. The area of willpower is kind of controversial these days. Some people see it as an actual, they'll call it an exhaustible resource. I don't know about that. I think those folks that are going after their dream, their major definite purpose, that thing that gives them a spark in their eye, will never run out of willpower. They hardly ever run out of energy, for that matter. Sometimes you got to sit down and say, dude, you got to eat, you got to sleep. All right? There's the false hope syndrome. When your resolution is unrealistic or it's out of alignment with who you are, your values, your beliefs, who you are inside, you might not only fail at it, you could really damage your self-esteem in the process. And this usually comes into play when you're setting goals for someone else. All right? Oh, I'm going to quit smoking. Well, you're going to quit smoking because everybody's bugging you to quit smoking, not because you're worried about your health or you're worried about your cough or because you want to for whatever reason. All right? And then cause and effect. You may think that achieving your resolution is going to change your life and make you happy, and all the unicorns and all the rainbows and cotton candy is going to be at your fingertips. Yeah. If it doesn't, you're probably going to be a little discouraged, and you're probably going to fall right back to your old behaviors. Oh, Well, see, I did all that work. I reached my goal and nothing's changed. Everything's the same. What are you going to do? Well, I was happier the other way, right? Cause and effect. So you want to be careful with those. These are some ways why they fail. So, resolution revolution. This is why you're here. All right, Tracy, come on, man. You're 20 minutes into this. I haven't heard anything yet. I think one of the big things we want to talk about, first off, is going to be goals versus resolutions. Okay? Oh, well, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. A goal is not the same thing as a resolution. Here's an idea. If you hear a resolution could be, I want something to happen. A goal version of it is, you're actively working towards it daily. A typical resolution is, well, I think I want to lose weight this year. A goal is, I'm going to lose 10 pounds by April. Okay? A resolution could be, I'm going to accomplish, I think I'm going to get that raise this year. A goal is, I'm going to turn my reports in on time. I'm going to find savings in the budget, and I'm going to create 3 new ideas to prove I deserve that promotion or that job enhancement or whatever. Very specific. You see, it's very specific, very tactile. You can say, I know when I've accomplished it. It's very clear, okay? Because here's the thing, right? If you want to live happy, I don't want you to tie your goal to a spouse or to a car, to anything material, because generally that's just a noose, all right? It's going to end up dragging you down, right? Define your resolutions as specific goals, right? SMART. You've heard the old SMART thing when it comes to goals, the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, right? You want to make them very, let's call them very smart, okay? You want to set them specific to avoid the vagueness. And I like to use the idea of people say, I want a new car. Well, be careful, because when you set yourself as a goal of I want a new car, you can end up getting a new car because you get into a wreck and your car gets demolished and you get a new car and it's a rental, or you get a new car and it's out of your price range because you can't afford the payments. You get a new car that you're not happy with. I want a new car. I want the Mercedes 500 SEC with the AMG package. Now, that's very specific. I want it in black. Whatever it is, that's not the car I want, but just what came to mind as I was saying it, okay? Measurable. This is setting the specifics even more so. It could be in timeline. It could be in measurements of, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, whatever it is. Whatever the very specific measure, because what gets measured gets done, all right? Attainable, this comes back to the don't make it unrealistic, don't make it out of bounds. I want you to stretch, I want you to reach, obviously, but I don't want it to be so far out there that you're going to go, oh God, I'm never going to get this done. Because here's the thing about the guy with $1 million. Hold on, I need to take a quick drink. Let's say he believed going into it, I can reach $1 million. I don't care what you say, Tracy. I'm only earning $40,000 a year right now. I can still do it. 6 months into it, right? Because when you start earning $1 million a year, you need $183,000 a month for 12 months. Well, 6 months into it, he hasn't reached it. Now it's gone 6 times that. He's got to earn way more than that. Now he's starting, oh my God, this is going to be so tough. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to do this. All right? So now he's starting to feel defeated. So I want you to stretch. I want to be a millionaire. Got it. How long do you think it would take you to be a millionaire? All right, well, maybe it's going to take me 5 years. Maybe it's going to take me, let's say 5 years. Well, now start backtracking through. Now, this year, what does he need to accomplish to reach that long-term, major, definite purpose of being a millionaire? All right, that's attainable. That's chunking it down. All right. Relevant. Here's the thing, and I created the Success Atlas goal setting system. Was one of the first things I did many years ago, and have made motivated. I've been motivated to make motivation enhancements to it over the years. And one of the things I did was this little checklist, a list of, I think it's like 10 questions that you need to ask, that if you answer no to any one of them, you might not want to be working on this goal. And it really comes down to, is this your goal, or is it motivated by somebody else? Is it true to who you are? Does it fit with your values, right? As you accomplish this goal, will you have to hurt someone else to do it? And if you answer no to some of these questions, you might not want to be working on this goal right now. So that's really relevant. And if the goal aligns and it's relevant for you, then hey, rock on, knock yourself out. And then, of course, the last one, T, is time-based. This comes back to, right, how long is it going to take you to get it done? And if it's going to take you 5 years to get it done to be a millionaire, go back to that example, right on. Set 5 years as a goal. That's your deadline. It helps you create that sense of urgency. You won't relax on your goals because you know there's only so much time to get it done. All right? So, how to make your resolution a goal. Let's start with the easy part, and I do this even when, as I mentioned, with the goal setting system. So I've integrated some of my previous programs into this to create one resolution revolution. I want you to create a list, right? The best way to start is by turning your New Year's resolutions into a goal, is to really write out a list of all the things that you consider to be your resolutions, right? Once you have this list, kind of go through them, kind of scan through and see which are the ones I really got to go after, which is a larger resolution. Here's what I usually find. Someone will write down a number of things, and sometimes 4 or 5 of the 10 things that they write down are encompassing of the same thing. Well, I need to paint the living room, and I need new rugs in the bedroom, and the sink needs to be fixed, and the lawn needs to be mowed. All these little things are all could be encompassed under working on the house, right? It's under one larger one. So you could create that larger one and start breaking it down, and then those are the steps. Now you have to create that big resolution and start breaking it down to smaller ones, all right? Whatever it is. I'm just giving you some examples. But the thing is what I want you to do at the end is to go through your list and create that one thing one thing, did you hear me? That you truly want to accomplish this year. Identify just one thing. Now, this can be a little tough sometimes, right? You might have to do a little bit of soul searching and say, man, I really want to quit smoking and I want to lose weight. Or, man, I really want to save up some money and I want to go on that trip, right? So, I really can't give you guidance on a webinar like this. It's kind of beyond the scope. But certainly, you dig in. Ask your significant other. Ask your best friend. Ask yourself, like, what do you really want to accomplish this year? And once you've identified it, it's going to help you stay focused. One thing at a time. And then, here's what's funny. You really want to paint the living room. Okay, you can probably bang that out in a month. Set another resolution after that. You'll be riding high on that sense of accomplishment I mentioned earlier, that self-esteem boost. Man, I could bang this out. You know what? I'm going to go in there. I'm going to remodel that bathroom next. I've been sitting there griping about that, looking at that dingy old thing. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to replace that faucet. I'm going to move things around. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So pick one goal you want to focus on, because focus matters. Okay. You can have some brainstorming sessions. This is another tool I like to use a lot. You can have a brainstorming session by yourself or with a team. When it comes to your goals, it's probably going to be you, and if it is going to be someone else, it's going to be you and a significant other, you and your spouse, you and your child that you trust, or your trusted friend. But sit down there and just toss ideas around. Just throw things out there, one thing after another. Use a whiteboard, use a spreadsheet, Word, a document. Heck, you could use some sort of drawing pad. My girlfriend's daughter has one of those little artist pencils. If you have that, just kind of scribble on your screen like that, whatever it is. The cool thing about brainstorming sessions is in the first few minutes, let all the ideas flow. Okay, what is my 2015 resolution? Start writing things down. And as the things get sillier, keep writing them down, because here's what's going to happen. One idea connects to another, which connects to another, which connects to another. All of a sudden, you're getting into a depth of you that you haven't realized. It may seem silly, but it's part of your mind telling you, look, you really want to do this. It might seem silly. And then if you're doing it with someone else, write their ideas down too, because that's going to prompt another set of another pathway idea for you. I mean, if you can imagine a spider web, and you're standing in the center, you decide to go down one of the strands, and then you meet that first intersection, and you say, okay, I'm going to go right. And if you keep saying, I'm going to keep going right, I'm going to keep going right, I'm going to keep going right, you're going to go in a circle. All of a sudden, your friend, your spouse, your child says, go left on this one. Right? Or one of the times you decide to go left. And also, you're not going to cover the whole spider web. You're going to cover all these ideas. Right? So let's kind of put them all out there. You could use something like Mind Miser. It's a free tool. You can sign up for free, and that's, I'm not going to give you any kind of links, because you go out there and it has little tools for you to do what's called mind webbing and brainstorming ideas. But just bang the ideas out, and then look through the ideas and say, all right, can't do that. I'm not going to be able to do that one. That one. So we'll slide this one off on the side, slide this one off the side, and you're going to start weeding through them. You can also do what's called a bubble sort. Look at the first two ideas. Which one's more important to you? All right, and circle that one. And then look at the next idea. And if that one's not as important, keep the one that's circled. And if the new one you're looking at is the more important one, well, now that's the circled one now. And then keep going through that bubble sort until the one you had your finger on, or that is finally circled, is the most important, because you've gone through each and every single one of them. Okay? So there's a couple of quick little ideas there for you, some of the tips. Due dates is another big thing. Due dates are huge. You want to have time bounds. We've talked about this a couple of times already, so I'm not going to beat this one to death. And the other piece right here is chunk it down. Big boulders become smaller pebbles. So perhaps you do want to lose 150 pounds. All right? Well, start breaking that down, because tackling 150 pound weight loss can be very menacing, can be very daunting, and very overshadowing. Okay, but if you start saying, you know what, I'm going to lose 5 pounds in the next week or two. All right, fine, 5 pounds, and then the next 5 pounds, and then the next 5 pounds, and the next thing you know, you're 50 pounds lighter, and the next thing you know after that, you're 25 pounds lighter, and then 30, and then 45. It starts building, okay? So break down those big boulders into smaller pebbles. All right? Where are we at now? I started going through some ideas here for writing. I'm looking through my notes right here. Writing down life goals. I'm going to put all these up at the same time right here. I heard the greatest example one time. You can see it at the bottom here, the lopsided wheel. And I used this once I heard it a number of times. I used to go into a presentation and I draw a big circle on there and spokes. And then each spoke, so you got there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 spokes here. You got the family and home, financial and career. You actually could create a spoke for each one of these: spiritual and ethical, physical and health, social and cultural, mental and educational. You could actually create a spoke for each one of these. And if you rated yourself, how you feel from 1 to 10 on each one of these, and then connected the dots on that spoked wheel, how lopsided would your wheel be? All right? And I'm not saying all these need to be 10, but you certainly don't want 3 of them to be 10s, 2 of them to be 5s, 2 other ones to be 1s, 2 other ones to be 3s, because you're going to have this really jerky and bumpy ride through life, right? You want to keep them all smooth, a nice easy ride, maybe a little lopsided every once in a while. Maybe you increase your family and your financial and career, which costs you a little bit in your family and home and your spiritual and ethical, but then you start smoothing out your spiritual and ethical and your family and home. Now you've got to raise up your physical and health and social and cultural, and then you start going faster and you start feeling, ooh, yeah, I'm getting into the fast side of life. Can you feel me on that one? All right, so don't be the lopsided wheel on this. All right? All right, so I'm going to come back over this one again. Write your goals in detail. Write details. In the Success Atlas goal setting program, I actually created. I take you through the here are all my dreams, and then here's the visuals of my dreams, and then you start picking out the ones, again, breaking it down into the categories: personal life, financial, career, yada yada, so forth and so on. And then you take one, the one that you picked in your bubble sort or your brainstorming session or whatever, and you write it out. And you even write it out from the point of if you were looking over your life, I call it vista view. If you're sitting up on a vista looking down over the valley, and the valley is the view of your life, or if you're an eagle soaring overhead, what does your life look like? Right? Can you see the beautiful home, the beautiful blonde California girl that you have at your side? Okay, that's for me, not for you, right? Maybe you have a guy, whatever it might be, that you have at your side, right? Family outings, Thanksgiving dinners, whatever it is. What kind of home, what kind of car you're driving, what kind of job are you doing? Are you laughing a lot? Can you feel that emotions that come with that? Can you smell the turkey that you're cooking on Thanksgiving evening, right? Can you feel the warm breeze of summer as you're walking down the road? Yeah, that I want you to take it there to that level of detail. That's going to give you some motivation. That's writing your goal, which is another reason why you probably only want to focus on one in detail. Plus, it also helps you know when you accomplish it. Okay? Then the next piece of that is tracking success. Time check. We are at 8:37. We're doing good. All right. You want to track your success. So after writing out your goals, you should always really plan on tracking your success. It could be something simple as, I don't know, if you're talking food, you're talking about dieting, maybe you have a food journal. Yeah? Maybe you write down each bite or even lick of ice cream that you have each day. And here's the thing about that, and I've done this in the past, I don't do it currently. But when you're monitoring your weight or what it is you eat and you write down every single thing, you'll be surprised. Right? And I'm not talking about cheating. I'm talking when you write down every single thing, when you have a little food journal at your side, you're like, okay, I had that, and I had a can of soda, and a bottle of Gatorade, and I had a piece of cheese, and 47 grapes. By the end of the day, you're looking at that going, holy caca, what do I eat all day long? I did this one time with spending. Oh my goodness, there's a wake up call for you. So, track, right? So same with the food journal, you may notice that, maybe on the weekends, you eat more calories. It might be that when you go out with a specific person, there's a few extra beers or glasses of wine, or perhaps you skip exercise the following day. Whatever it might be. I noticed there was one time when I was writing in my journal, like religiously every single morning, I was rereading it, which is another habit I like folks to get into. I was like rereading the week. At the end of the week, I'd reread my week's journal entries. And at the end of the month, I would skim through them and reread some significant ones that just kind of caught my eye. And I began noticing a trend that on Wednesday mornings, some of my journal entries had this tone that it was really out of sorts for me. I'm usually very positive, very upbeat. And then I realized that on Tuesday evenings, I was going to a meeting and I didn't like one of the people that were there. And the 2 or 3 Wednesdays where I read in a month that that the journal entries in my journal weren't so, I won't say negative, they weren't as positive as usual, were Wednesdays after I went to that Tuesday meeting and the person wasn't there. So I began distancing myself, even at that meeting, from that person, sitting, further away, so I didn't have to engage with them, didn't have to be feeling their negative energy. So I only noticed this because I was tracking things. I was tracking my success. I was tracking my habits, and I was paying attention. Okay, so journal, review, evaluate. Right, this is going to be very key to a lot of success. All right. Next thing I want you to focus on is creating one new habit first. Here's a lot of things to do. This comes back to the having too many resolutions at a time. And even if you have one resolution, there may be a number of lifestyle things you want to change. If we stick with dieting, you want to change the way you eat. You want to change your exercise. You maybe want to change some of your some of your schedule. You're really going to have to zero in on one new habit first. So take what it is you're trying to accomplish and break it down. What's the thing you can attack first? All right. Maybe it's eating a banana with your breakfast today. If you're working on smoking, maybe you start by cutting down by not having one cigarette in the morning. Because maybe you're the kind of person you wake up, first thing you do, click, flick, and you light that cigarette. Or maybe your first habit is waiting an hour. Okay? If we're talking financial, maybe your first habit you want to do is putting $5 into a savings account every Friday. Now, you're like, wow, that's a whole lot of money. But it's this new habit. I don't care. Maybe you break it down. I'm going to put $1 into the bank account every day. Right? That's building that saving. I'm not going to exaggerate on purpose. If you're going back to the healthy lifestyles and you want to exercise a little bit more and you're really out of shape, maybe it's something like I'm going to take the stairs and not the elevator up one floor. And if I'm going downstairs, I'm going to take the stairs down 2 floors. And if it's further than 2 floors, well, then I'll take them. All right. I'm packing my lunch. I'm going to put healthy snacks in there instead of candy bars and junk. I'm not going to focus on so much all of my meal, but I can certainly start with the healthy snack. You see what I'm saying? You're starting with the little things at first. You create that one small habit first, and then you can build on that success. That's going to be huge. All right. Another thing that kills a lot of folks is distractions. And obviously, you'll want to avoid them. Here's the thing. Distraction. I'm going to call this a distraction. I hear a lot of people say, well, the timing isn't quite right yet. I'm waiting for the perfect time. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect timing is never timed perfectly. Now is the time, right? There's so many things going on in the world that if you wait for the perfect time, it's never going to be timed perfectly. Oh, the perfect time is here. Oh, but I don't have this. Okay? So it's better to get yourself back on track and stumble through a task versus giving up. I want you to stumble through getting something done and getting it 50% right. At least you got 50% right versus 0% right. Okay? Be open-minded about it. You can beat distractions. All right? And then there will be times you're going to want to ask for some assistance. Or maybe if it's just asking for information. It's not even asking for help. I know sometimes I'm guilty of this. Help isn't the problem. I just need a little bit more information. So thank you, Google, right? Thank you, iPhone. I can go out there and grab it a lot easier. But a lot of times it's a lot easier to ask someone who's already done what you're trying to do. I came up with the idea of when I was starting to manage some of my health aspects, I was going to turn it into an extension of my podcast. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know, I'm really not that much of an expert. I do have someone that knows more than I do in my life. She's a significant part of my life. Hey, Diane, how you doing? So I queried her. I said, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'd like to do this. I've written some things based on what I've learned and what I know. Would you be willing to read it? I haven't handed it to her yet to read, and I know she's very willing to do it, but the idea is going out there. And now she's actually she's not thinking about it. She bought the course and the test prep to go out and take her personal trainer certifications. So when I do decide to move on that project, I will have a certified person at the helm to give me my information expertise. So there you have it. So go out and ask for the assistance, get the information, and get it from someone who's done it. That's your best bet. All right. Another piece, and you hear me say this a lot in my podcasts, make daily progress. I want you to do something, some little thing every single day towards your goal, towards your resolution, every day. I don't care how small it is, all right? It's better to spend 15 minutes totally focused on your goal than an hour distracted. So like maybe you want to write a book and you decide, hey, I can write a page a day, and in a year I'll have 365 pages. Just for your information, the average book, we'll say self-help book, is 200 pages long. I know because I've worked on writing one. I've got it halfway done inside of the side. So I did the research. 200. I thought, heck, I could do. 3/4 of a page a day, and in a little under a year, I'll have my book done and be ready to hit the streets. The thing is sitting down undistracted. And I learned that if I could block out 15 minutes, that it would usually turn into 30 minutes or more. But it's blocking that out. So it's better to find that 15 minutes to be totally focused, because this is going to build that mental engagement, all right? Where that you can picture it and visualize it and smell it and feel it and taste it. Like I was mentioning earlier, when you were looking down over the vista vision of your life, I want you to, spend some time on a regular basis repicturing it. If you want to lose weight, picture yourself at that new weight, in that new tone, that new physique, in that new cute outfit, in the new suit, huh? And the look in your loved one's eye when they see you. Yeah, is that motivating? I know when my lady looks at me the way I love the way she looks at me, that to me is motivating when I think about, hey, I'm going to go get me a candy bar. I don't know if I want to have another candy bar, right? Because I don't want to get out. I don't want to get away from getting those looks, all right? So here's one of the things is, where do you find the time? Well, you can find the time anywhere. You can get up 15 minutes earlier, right? I know I'm an early riser. I get up early in the morning on purpose and spend some time, and it's become a habit of mine. So I can easily use that for 15 minutes. Give up 15 minutes of TV time. There are way too many people spending over 8 hours a day watching television. I'm guilty. I spend time watching TV. I spend lots of time watching TV. So I'm speaking out of, not out of turn, but I'm going backwards here. Find time. There we go. Okay. I'm not speaking out of turn when I say TV is one of my vices. But if I step away from it, I can get that 15 minutes of focused time. All right? I want to get through the last few slides here and leave some time for any Q&A. I haven't seen any questions come across. Bing. I'm just checking. We got none going on. All right, maybe I'm just doing such a great job that no one has any questions. All right. So, towards the back side of this, we have accountability. You want to hold yourself accountable, right? Again, this comes back to hold yourself accountable to making daily progress. Hold yourself accountable to self-empowerment, right? You want to know how to make things happen in your life, and this could be accomplished by allowing yourself to become self-empowered. This could be something as simple as, I can do it, or giving yourself permission to not need permission. I want to paint the living room. Well, I don't need to get everyone's approval on that. And I'm not saying go do that. I'm saying it's certainly an option, right? This is going to involve you going along and taking actions and accepting the risks that come along with that. And of course, with the risks, you're also going to be accepting the rewards. You don't get into the habit of waiting for things and waiting for people to come to you. Don't get into that habit, right? Empower yourself to go out to them. Remember I said, go out to them and get the information. Go out to them and get the assistance. And here's the really cool thing about this. If you're going to go ask for help, think about how you can help them. So now you're really empowering yourself by saying, I need to go ask Robbie how to do this. But I'm not just going to go ask and expect something for nothing. I know he needs help in this area. So I'm going to go out there and in exchange, right, give him this. Dude, then they want to help you. And they say, well, how can I help you? Well, I did kind of need, you know what I'm saying? And that may sound manipulative, but here's the thing is, if you self-empower yourself by going out and helping other people, people will want to help you. And then guess what's going to happen? They're going to start coming to you. All right? They're going to start coming to you a lot. So I want you to have that personal accountability. I want you to be accountable at the workplace, right? And I want you to maybe even go so far as to find an accountability partner. This one's huge. This really works in the world of diet, right, and healthy lifestyles. So many studies have said, look, if you have someone who's a dieting partner, you're going to be far more successful because they're going through it with you. In addition to that, you may want to go and find someone who's already done it, as I keep saying. They could help be your accountability partner. Maybe you have both. You have accountability partner to travel the journey with you, to share the bumps in the road, and then someone that can tell you, look, you can do it. I've done it. I've been there. I've gone through it. Both of those would definitely help. How to find one? Well, they're everywhere. There are groups. There, I think one of the ways of finding them is knowing what you want. It's probably going to be key. Do you want it to be a male or a female, right? Do they want to have similar interests? Do they live close proximity of you? I mean, that can start narrowing your scope down, because it's going to be kind of hard to have an accountability partner to go exercise that lives on the other side of town. Yeah, there are going to be all those mornings that are going to be, well, I don't know if I want to get that. Find lots of groups. When it comes to whatever topic it is. There's a lot of online opportunities, and there was one called Beehive, I believe it was. I will probably have to go research that one, because I did that one just popped into my head. I used it for a while and found a couple of really good accountability partners when I first was starting a couple of big projects, and they had gone through very similar experiences. So I brought them along. They were like, hey, I'd be happy to be your accountability partner, and it really worked. And we set up meetings, and we would meet. We did online meetings, which was really handy. Could share ideas. I would listen to theirs. They were going through projects that I hadn't been through yet, but certainly could listen and be an unbiased advisor, so to speak. And so it became this quid pro quo, this who on to crew, which I talk about in my book that like I've said, I've half written, and I've mentioned in a couple of my other programs, or kind of a brainstorming, mastermind kind of opportunity. I say, here's what I'm trying to accomplish, and here's what I'm going to do this week, and then the week goes by, and they say, okay, well, you said you were going to do this week. How'd you do? Well, and then they kind of hold you accountable. And if nothing else, as you're going through your week, I got that meeting tomorrow, I need to get at least something done, so they can go into the meeting saying, hey, I got this much done, right? And then they will start seeing your trend, saying, well, it seems like you're having trouble with this. Have you tried this, or have you tried that? Or do you need someone else's assistance? What's keeping you from doing it, right? And then you can start building that accountability plan out of that, all right? Some best practices, some tips for the last few minutes that we have together here. Plan of action. Always, always, always have a plan of action. Never leave the site of a decision without taking some sort of action. I learned that from Tony Robbins as well. Hold on, one more drink for me, please. And that, if you make the decision to start a goal, your first step could be as simple as writing a list of steps that you're going to have to accomplish over the course of the next day, week, month, or year. That's taking some action. And then going and starting the next task and the next step. You want to create yourself a plan of action. So I want to lose weight. I want to quit smoking. My plan of action to quit smoking is, well, it seems like I'm smoking a pack a day. I'm awake 12 hours of the day, and I'm just throwing easy numbers out here. I got 20 cigarettes. It means I'm having a cigarette every 45 minutes or so. I'm going to, for tomorrow, my plan of action is I'm going to extend the time between cigarettes from 45 minutes to an hour. I only have to go an extra 15 minutes. And I can start dropping cigarettes off. And then I'm going to extend it to a half hour. And then 45 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So you're not just, I'm not going to just, bam, quit smoking. And I'm just breaking this down into smaller steps as an example. In weight loss, it could be, like I said, the weights. It could be, all right, well, my first step is, I'm going to monitor what I eat for a couple of days to see what it is I need to trim down. Or I'm going to get some healthy advice from someone who's been there. Okay? Whatever it is, go through those steps. Create that plan. And create them with deadlines. Well, yeah, I created my 7 steps, but I didn't say when I'm going to get them done by. And guess what? You probably will never get them done. So I'm going to create step 1. And step 1 I'm going to get done tomorrow before I go to bed. And the next step, well, I really need to do a little more research. So now I have a new step. I need to do the research for that step. So I'm going to get that research done by Saturday, which means then I can probably get that next step done by the following Saturday. And then I'll write myself a new task of setting the deadlines for the rest of these steps once I understand how much longer I need to get them done. Okay? And then share. And this one here, you want to go with give up goals versus go up goals. There can be some different sharing opportunities here. Give up goals, I think you should share with just about everybody. All right? I'm going to give up smoking. I'm going to give up drinking. I'm going to give up cussing. I'm going to give up this. I'm going to give up that. I would say share those with everybody because they will hold you accountable. They will hold you to the task. When it comes to go up goals, well, those ones you probably want to share a little more comfortable, a little more close to the vest. You know what? I want to get that promotion. Well, if you share that with 4 other people that also want that promotion, yeah, that could prove a little bit detrimental. All right, now sharing it with your boss, with your significant other, good idea. With your best friend, good idea. Okay, so watch for your give up goals versus your go up goals on your sharing. And here's another one I like to throw in, and I did this with the Success Atlas Goals program, which is where I threw this tip in from, is plan for the unexpected. So if you're sitting there and you think about, and I did this with a business project in a few different areas over the course of my career, what could go wrong? What are the top 5 things that could go wrong here in these points? And if you think of the 5 things that could go wrong, and then you could think of a plan to either avoid them, go through them, or go around them, well, then now you're ready for them. And here's what I found out that happened is that when you're prepared for the unexpected most often doesn't happen. And when it does, everyone else is running around like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And you're like, what? We got these 5 ideas right here of how to solve this. And these 3 right here are going to work. This one here that we thought of 6 months ago, it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? So go for it. Tools. Well, I've mentioned journals. Journal. A journal could be anything. It could be a food journal. It could be a personal journal. It could be a work journal. You can have a couple of different journals. I know at one point I had a journal with 3 different sections. I had a journal with a personal section where I wrote it was just all about my personal life. I had a dreams section because I was always coming up with ideas that I didn't want to lose the ideas. And I'm a firm believer that if your brain gives you an idea, write it down. Because if you don't write it down, you're telling your brain, yeah, I don't care. And then it stops giving you ideas. So write it down. Journal. Apps. There are apps all over the place. And just about anything you can think of, there's an app for that. So I use a lot of apps. I have a few apps. When I was doing some of my weight stuff, actually that's what I used to journal my food. I would write down what it was I ate, and they had so many of the food and serving sizes already in there, and it gave a caloric content and proteins and all of the other stuff, all the way down to fast food restaurants and regular restaurants. You could go and say, well, I had a Big Mac and a set of fries and a large Coke, and those were options in there. So I didn't have to go research what all that was. It was really handy. So apps are really good for that. Petameters, there are apps for that. Just technology has gone crazy. So look at apps for tools to help you reach your goals. And then lastly, obviously, I'm going to sell myself. YourSuccessAtLast.com. We have the Success at Last DNA show Monday through Friday, and then Success Atlas is where I really want to go with you in a little bit. So we got consequences. Always, I would say this one is not thought of very often, and we're out of time, so I'm going to cut this a little bit short, but I want to cut you short on the content. I promised good content. I want to give it to you. Give yourself consequences. If from the smoking idea, if you didn't wait the time allotted, take away something that you enjoy. We often think about just the carrot. We forget about the stick. And we're motivated by both. It's the pain and pleasure principle. And some of us are more motivated on one side than the other. And so this will be a personal one. Set yourself up with some consequences. Associate with groups that will promote your goal accomplishment. Um, Challenges. Bite size, not super size. I'm going to repeat this. I've said this in a number of different ways, from the boulder to the pebble. I want you to bite-size your chunk, not supersize it. That's your best bet. Always, always break it down. I like to go from the major definite purpose, everything you want to create in life, and break it down into a couple of major goals, and then you can call them major projects. And inside those major projects, you can have some goals. And inside those goals, you're going to have some tasks. And inside those tasks, you're going to have some to-dos. And those to-dos are your check-offs. Check, 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 check. I mean, you got it so far broken down, you could probably be checking off 10 things today, and then that rolls up to a task you wanted to get accomplished, to a goal you're going to get accomplished, towards your major definite purpose. You feel me? All right. That's motivation. I hope you can just hear some of this. Plan for the unexpected, and we already talked about that, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Here's another thing. I want you to book a day off, man. There's nothing wrong with taking a day off. All right? It helps you to focus, not obsess. All right? And that day off could be a reward. Maybe that's a consequence. Oh man, I blew my smoke. Oh, dang it, I smoked and I didn't wait my 15 minutes. I had 2 cigarettes in the same time frame. I can't have my day off this week. All right? I'm just going to have to push it off another day. There you go. All right? And then when I come back to yoursuccessatlast.com, man, go listen to those shows. The podcast got lots of great ideas. Some of those shows run longer than the normal 15 minutes I try to keep them to. It's because I get on a good rant. I want to tell you it all. And it gets tough, but we'll keep it going. All right. Now, here we come to the very last bit. I want to give you help on achieving all of your goals, all of your dreams, all of your desires. So what that comes down to is some daily motivational messages, which I call that's the, there it is, your success. Well, let's come back to daily motivational messages. And then you also have Your Success at Last DNA. As I mentioned earlier, it's a podcast about 15 minutes a day, Monday through Friday. Sometimes it runs a little long. It's gone as long as 30 minutes before when I've gotten into a good topic. And it's just me being me. It could be something that happened to me the day before, and I decide, you know what, it's going to be great content for my podcast. Or it could be something I sat down and I planned out. And it could be something from someone on Facebook sending me a message, give me an idea, say, Tracy, I'm having this problem. And I say, okay, well, they're having this problem. There are probably other folks listening that have the same problem. And you guys guide those, the content. You can actually, I've gotten emails and messages on Facebook saying, I really have this problem. I would really like you to do a podcast. Oh, got it. I'll do it. The next one is I have a preset, and I call this the Success at Last 360. And it's actually 365 tips that I send out daily. This is an automatic feed. I send this out, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Quick, probably no more than 5 minutes. Just little ideas, little tips. If you listen to them every day, which most people don't, most people, just they queue them up and listen to 5 or 6 of them at a time, maybe a week's worth at a time. But the idea is something in there is either going to help you that week or something's going to happen to you later on. You go, hey, wait a minute. Tracy told me, in that tip a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to try that to get through this problem or to deal with this opportunity, right? Then there's a program I wrote a couple of years back, about 3 years back, called Write Your Success Story. And this is really kind of a creative spin on goal setting. I've written a structured version, which is the Success at Last goal setting program, and the forms that come with that, which is very, I won't call it clinical, but it's very set out. I'm a planner by nature. I like structure and I like form, which is why my first program was the Success at Last goal setting program, very structured. Do this, then do that, then do this, then do that, then do this, then do that. Well, I have a lot of creatives in my world, and I have a creative side to me too, and I realize that that structure sometimes leaves that creative on the sidelines. It's really hard to do both. So I've created the Write Your Success program, which is really the creative side of it, where I take you creatively through writing your life plan, jotting down ideas and how to pull them all together, and take you through some, it's like 4 or 5 exercises in that program to help you get what you want out of your head creatively and on the paper. And then you can really take that and integrate it into the goal setting forms and program, and it all rolls in together, which is why I put the Write Your Success story first and then followed by the forms and programs. All right. I'm also going to throw in a yearly planner. This really kind of spins off the resolution revolution, and it enhances the goal setting forms. It's looking at it. We're going to keep pushing you every single day, every single day. Obviously, that's why I'm sending you the daily motivational messages, the 360 tips, the Monday through Friday podcasts, and now this yearly planner will be delivered to you every month. I'm going to give you the next month that kind of keep you moving, keep you going. On top of that, I got this championship mindset program. A lot of people are tackling the motivation and where their head is at. So let's go through what a champion's mind is like, how a winner thinks. And I'm not going to say I'm the winner. I did a lot of research to pull this together. So we're going to send you a weekly program. So hey, here's how you can do it. Here's how to get better. And I could give this to you all at once, but the idea is I want you to just immerse yourself in all this and go, all right, I'm going to try all this at once. This comes back to that starting a habit at a time. So if I drip feed this to you, give you a little bit at a time, read through this and try it. Oh, that didn't work. Well, read through this and try this. Oh, well, that works. So what about that one you just read? All right. So we're going to step you through this. And then, of course, what you're hearing here, the resolution revolution, you're going to get kind of a summary of what I've shared with you here. And then we're going to go in a little bit deeper, share a little bit more with you. The yearly plan is going to come with that. I'm even going to share with the folks the Evernote version as well. So those that use Evernote, I'm a big Evernote user. I've laid out the yearly planner in an Evernote format, so you can just copy that right into your Evernote and write your plans right there on your computer screen, or if you use on your iPhone, it will all be synced up all at the same time. That way you can always have your goals at your fingertips. All right. Now to get all this, you go to successatlas.com/members/sign up. All right. What you're going to see at the very top, it's going to say the Resolution Revolution program. And I've priced it at the bottom line price, which is $19.97 a month. And actually, it's going to be free for the first 7 days. Now, I haven't loaded everything up yet because I wanted to wait till we get everybody signed up. That way, everyone's all going at the same time. So I want you to go out there to successatlas.com/members with an S/sign up. And you'll see that right at the very top there. It'll say the Resolution Revolution program. It'll list out a lot of these programs you see listed here is what's going to be in there. It'll say free for the first 7 days and then $19.97 a month after that. Okay? So you go do that while I go and take a drink of this Gatorade. And wow, we made it through this. How about that? And the server stayed up and nothing crashed. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. Who am I? Resolution. So go out there, successatlas.com/members/sign up, and get the programs. We'll get you through your resolution this year. All right, we're going to get you through with the daily podcasts. We're going to get you through with the 360 degrees, the 360 program, which is the 365 tips that are in there. The mindset program, the Write Your Success Story program, the goal setting forms and program, and what else was there? The champion mindset, and I got a couple of other programs in the hopper. I'm going to be finishing up here shortly. I'm going to put those in there, and now those will become a part of your subscription automatically, no extra charge. A lot of these programs I'll be charging, depending on the program, $97 to $147 just to get get them out there. Could be more depending on the length of the program. I got a longer one I'm thinking about doing for $297. It'll just be part of your normal program. So get on out there, sign up now, and I'm going to leave you as I always do. Think successfully, take action. Thanks for attending. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.